हरि 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 ओम जय नारायण परिपूर्ण कारण ओम हरि हरि ओम जय नारायण परिपूर्ण कारण ओम जय जय शंख सुचक्र गदाम्बुज पीतांबर धर ओम जय जय शंख सुचक्र गदाम्बुज पीतांबर धर ओम हरि 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 श्रीधर श्रीकर श्रीवत्साङ्कित श्रितजनवत्सलवो श्रीधर श्रीकर श्रीवत्साङ्कित श्रितजनवत्सलवो श्रीमधुसूदन श्रीमधुरानन त्रिभुवन पालनवो श्रीमधुसूदन श्रीमधुरानन त्रिभुवन पालनवो हरि हरि वो हरि हरि वो हरि हरि वो धुन ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Page 141, stanza number 56. Repeat after me. अजो महार्हर स्वाभाव्यः महार्हर स्वाभाव्यः जिता मित्र प्रमोदनः प्रमोदनः आनंदो नंदनो नंदः सत्य धर्मा त्रिविक्रमः जिता मित्रः. Yesterday we saw till swabhavyah. So today proceeding further, jita mitraha. Adi Shankaracharya ji says, jita amitra avartinah ragadveshadayah. The one who has won over, or the one who is never ever bothered by that which bothers us. What is it that bothers us? That which bothers us is called a mitra. Mitra, that which is friendly, helps us in tough times. Amitra, that which does not help and which bothers us, or which becomes the source for misery, creates trouble and makes sure that we are sustained in that misery. Gurudev very beautifully says that anger takes us to hell and pride makes sure that we make that a permanent place to reside. These are amitra. That who is not disturbed by these different agencies which create raga and dvesha. Raga, attachment, that which is born because of something that I like. Dvesha, that which is disliked. And every single experience we live is based on these two aspects. Constantly and consistently we live in that realm alone. And Bhagavan seems to have his fun in this irony that all that which I have is usually that which I don't like. I want to get rid of it. All that which I want is what I like, and where is it? Far away from me. So constantly what are we doing? I call this as the hamster syndrome or the treadmill syndrome. Constantly running, reaching nowhere. Running after the things that I like and running away from that which I don't like. The entire life. Now you bring something to as young a kid as 4 or 5 months old, that which they don't like. And they have quick reflexes. They wait until the spoon reaches to their mouth and about to drop it in their mouth, and they have a quick movement. And before you realize, that which you're trying to feed them is all over the place. Especially when that kid has to be fed medicine. The Indian mothers have developed a technique patented by the Indian mothers. If you have observed the kid, the moment they see you with that little container with a little nozzle on it, They are already restless. They are, poor fellows cannot run away. They are in that crib. So they see it and they see that inevitability that is going to come into their experience, and they start reacting with twisting, turning, trying to. And this mother is like, बच के कहाँ जाएगा? Where will you run? And pick that kid up, have one side of the body on that side of the knee when they bend their knees, pull the head on this side. I mean, as I'm explaining, it looks like a very torturous experience. Believe me, generations of us have gone through it without the trauma of it. So the head comes this side. And do you think that is sufficient enough to put this? First, insert your finger, open the mouth, and then slowly slide that in, the nozzle in, and drip it in. They have many resistive patterns that they have developed. I think just because the aushadha, that medicine has gone into their mouth, it will go in. No, they'll spit it out. So what do the mothers do? Very gently pinch that nose. So what happens? Sometime they have to open their mouth to breathe and then put it in. If the dosage is 1 cup, they usually take 1.5 cup, knowing very well that half cup will be kicked out anyway, all over the place, spray painting. Even a kid 4 or 5 months old very clearly wants to run away from that which they don't like. Somehow psychologically, right from that age, we have inherent knack to choose that which we should not be entertaining. I was in this house, we were just entering into that house through the garage, and this little kid was sitting there right under the table. And sometimes under the table you find a lot of specimens, especially if you have small children, that would have been wiped out clean if it was on the table, but it slips and falls. So right from the car door, the father looks at the kid. There is something right in front of the kid, and the father is about to scream, about to shout, "No, don't!" Before the first syllable can even come through the father's mouth, this fellow is 1 or 1.5 years old. What does he do? Now say don't. I've already done it. That which I like, all the elders and well-wishers say don't. That which I don't like is being pushed in. Constantly, right since that age, we have developed an art to run. We are like that forest grump. Run and run and run and run. Run away from things that we don't like and run for things that we like. There is no sthirata, there is no stability. And as simple as a material outside in the world can create that agitation in our heart. Simplest to the most complicated can agitate us based on our likes and dislikes. And these likes and dislikes, based off of which we have the audacity to brand the world outside as good or bad. What is good? All that which I like is good. All that which I don't like is bad. That vastu in as such doesn't have goodness or badness. It is my perception. Jita amitraha, the one who has won over the plurality of our existence. The one who does not fall prey to the plurality of our existence. There are this polarities always in our life. There will be plus, there will be minus. But to find that mid path to walk, balancing both plus and minus in life. Once in Buddha's life, he was requested by a minister to visit his king. And the king was an extravagant, indulging person. You name the vice and he had it. And he was quite indulgent in all those. When not indulging in those vices, he was a pretty good king. Because his decisions and his way of or outlook for his people was in a very solid platform. That he did always good for the people, but for himself, nothing good ever. So the minister invites Buddha, and with just a few glimpses, few words from Buddha, he is now changed. He comes to Buddha and he says, you know what? All this I see are temporary. Because I did not have interest, I used to goof off in all these kinds of things. Not because I am addicted to it. I can drop them off like this. And I have taken a vow that I'll drop them off. I want to spend my life following you, learning from you, if you permit me to. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. So that fellow also left. But now, after having left, after following Buddha, he was on the other extremities. This side he was indulgent, on the other side he was constantly in such a painful mode, inflicting pain on himself. If everybody would sleep under the bushes, under the shadows, under the shade of a tree, he would sleep on those hot baked stones, baked by the sun's light. I said, that is my penance. If everybody would walk on the path, he would walk on the gravel or on the thorny bushes on the side, saying, this is my penance. So Buddha observed this for a while. I said, something has to be done to get across to him that neither that was good nor this is good. Many of us do that in the name of spirituality. Take to the extremities. You should not be doing this. You should close your eyes. You constantly live in that shell. So Buddha, in the next village or next town that he was in, he was entertained by a rich person who had a taste for music, knowing very well that this king was very good sitar player, the string instrument. So he brought that sitar, and unusual request from Buddha that he comes to his room and he says, can you play it for me? Thrilled that Buddha himself came down to my room asking me for playing this. So he starts tuning it up, and then as he starts to play, Buddha rushes in and he releases all those knobs attached to the string and loosens them up, and then goes back and says, play. So again this king says, okay, this is not how it is played. And then again he tunes it up. He's about to play. Buddha rushes in and tightens them. He says, play. You mad or what? My fingers will be cut with this, the tenacity on these strings. It is not convenient to play. As soon as this king made that statement, Buddha got up and left. And this fellow with a sitar was sitting there. Oh, wait, what was this whole thing about? And It took him for a while to get that message across, that there are these polarities in life. But when will music come out? When, to put it in a beautiful way, not too tight, not too loose, just right. Not too loose, not too tight, just right. That is when music can come out of that instrument. Similarly, if that divine has to flow through us in a celebratory mode of music, in a celebratory mode of anything divine, then it has to be in that balance, not caving in to either edges of polarity, but to bring that balance right in the middle. And the one who has found that balance in life is called Jita Amitraha. Jita Mitraha. Another meaning of Jita Mitra is Ravana Kumbhakarna Shishupaladhyaha Yenasau Jita Mitraha. The one who has won over all those who were Amitra to the entire creation. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, then was Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupala, and Dantavakra. Dantavakra, poor fellow, had each teeth in one direction. Vakra Danta. Why? Because he did not have Vajra Danta. Vajradanti tooth. So he was ridiculed for his teeth structure, dental structure. So these were the Amitra to the entire creation. And he is the one who has conquered all these aspects. Therefore, he is called Jitamitra. Ajo Maharhar Swabhavyah Jitamitraha. Pramodanah. Pramodanah. Swatma Amrita Rasaswadan Nityam Pramodate Yaha Saha. Who is Pramoda? There are three words that are used in Sanskrit. In fact, in Sanskritam, for every little variation in a material or in an expression, there is a name identifying it. Water in different sizes, shapes, and formats, there are about 47 different names for it. The lips, how they are shaped while you are saying something, each position has a different name to it. Different aspects of hand and their expressions have different names to it. So there are these three words which indicate different levels of joy. Moda, pramoda, ananda. Moda, the thought of something that you like, when that thought occurs in your system, in your thinking, there is an amount of that endorphins released. You feel a certain joy thinking about it. Like, for example, This example works universally. Raw mango, fresh from the tree, brought down. Its juices are still trickling down from the place that you break it from the branch, and that has a smell to it, and that waft of it is you smell it, and then you peel the dark skin, you chop it into slices, spread it out, sprinkle some salt, sprinkle some chili powder on it, and then you take the first bite of it. Ah, it's so sour that the entire teeth, there is a little sensation that you feel. The moment you think of all this entire process goes through your head. There is a space that you reach inside. Ah, that, that is called moda. It is only purely in your imagination, in your thought. Or typical old movies, Bollywood movies. The hero is sitting in front of a table lamp, looks at the lamp, trying to write a letter to his beloved. And then the girl is sleeping on the couch, looking at the fan, thinking of each other, the thought of each other. Now, it later dawned on me, what is the connection? They're connected through electricity, the night lamp and the fan. But the thought of each other, the joy that it brings in, more. When that object of your thought is right in front of you, as you are speaking, as you are thinking about it, somebody brought that mango, cut it up and laid it out, sprinkled that salt and then the chili powder on it, and it is right in front of you. The smell of it, the look of it, as you pick the first piece, it's there for you to enjoy. At that moment, the space that you have reached inside, the joy that you have reached inside, is called pramoda. Then there is Advaita Siddhi. What is Advaita Siddhi? The duality is given up, and now that duality becomes one with you as you take that first bite, as you take that first, you know, taste of it, and it like goes all over. Early morning coffee, somebody has put the coffee pot and it is all filtering in. The first waft of it through the vents comes to your room. Coffee, moda. And you come to the table and there is a cup of coffee. Pramoda. You hold it in hand, feel that warmth, and then you sip the first sip. It trickles down your system, spreading across. And that warmth as it reaches the place that you reach, is called Ananda. Different layers of experience. Moda, Pramoda, Ananda. So here, that which meditated upon, that Atma Tattva, that Atma Sukha, as Adi Shankaracharya ji beautifully puts it, he says, Swatma Amrita Rasa Aswadat Nityam Pramodate iti. Swatma, from the self, from the core of one's own being. Amrita Rasa, Amrita Rasa, that nectarine essence, that which is experienced. Aswadanat, experienced. How? Nityam, experienced consistently. That by whose thought you reflect upon and experience that sublime bliss right in your heart is called Pramodam. And the one who gives that is called Pramodanaha. Pramodanaha, that which brings that joy. This is one meaning. The second meaning, Prama Odanaha, measured quantity of food. Odana, food. Reaching across to these various jivas all across in a timely manner. We all wonder, in Bombay they have a system called the tiffin dabba system. From the houses, the fresh cooked food is picked up, and there is a labyrinth of matrix that it goes through and reaches across to your office as it is still warm. The logistics are mind-boggling. These are all managed by those uneducated, mostly farmers who have come to the main city to find a living. If that is mind-boggling, imagine to the most accessible to the most inaccessible jiva, to provide timely the experiences and food for that individual, to arrange the entire cosmos in such a way that the food arrives to that individual at that time, that experience arrives to that individual at that time. What amount of logistics must he be managing? Just the human beings, we are about, how many now? 6 billion? 7 billion? Wow. 7 billion mouths to reach. Now add the trees, the plants, those animals that fly, those which crawl, those which are tiny little insects, for the tiniest to the largest, to provide these experiences in a timely manner. Once I was sitting, when I was in Vijayawada, about 1/5 of my time used to go in waiting for the train arrival. Not that I was traveling. Vijayawada happens to be in that intersection between south and north, that everybody traveling from north to south had to cross through Vijayawada. Everybody going from south to north had to cross through Vijayawada. And there's so many brahmacharis, swamis and mission members that would go through. Swamiji, can you arrange for, we are about 20 people. Can you arrange for food? Can you arrange for lunch? Can you arrange for dinner? And what is one known fact, changeless fact about these trains? They never ever come on prescribed time. So there are some times when it is really delayed, I would go back, but it is delayed by half an hour, 1 hour. There is no point going half an hour and coming half hour. So I would sit there itself. And I love, even today, I love sitting in those places where there is a lot of hustle bustle happening. There's so much to study, so much to see, so much to cherish the activity and interaction. So much happens. So many people, so many interactions, so many things happening. One day, as I was sitting looking at all this, right in front of me, under my feet, this little ant, in its own majestic way, is walking. And usually we don't observe, and even if we observe, we don't identify with it. But that day, I guess I had too much of time on my hand that for a brief moment, I got identified with that ant. That's so concerned that I became. What would happen of this ant? Imagine I'm sitting on this end of the platform. The ant is going straight to the other end of the platform where the train comes. I was observing that ant. Carts going in and out, people rushing in and out, people splattering water or squatting right there, putting their luggage. So much happening. And this ant majestically goes into the walks. And like a poor fellow, and this foot comes almost on the top of it. And when the foot leaves, it's still there. Okay. I followed it through. It went to the other end, found its little tiny piece of food, and walked all the way back. Whatever den it was right under me, under that chair or bench that I was sitting in. So much could have happened from this end to that end. It's hardly 15 feet. Hardly 15 feet for us. But for that poor fellow, it is an entire day's effort to go there and come back. So much could have happened. It was almost as India won a cricket match against Pakistan. That kind of joy that the ant came back with its food that day. The only thankful thought that was in my head, that even this creature gets its food and you make sure that that is arranged for. When you look at it from the food standpoint. Odanaha need not just mean food as in food to be eaten. All the experiences are called food. Some aspects of the experience are the food for our eyes. All that we see is the food for eyes. All that we hear is called food for our ears. Don't we say food for thought? All that we smell is a food for the nose. So all these experiences, for each one of us to experience based on our purva karma, to experience that particular experience at that given point of time. Not a moment early, not a moment delayed. Could not have happened such precisely by anybody else. He who arranges for that experience to be experienced in a measured prama, in a measured level, not too intense that it would annihilate that individual, not too less that they would left be starving, right amount so that that individual gets nourished through that experience and has an opportunity, if he or she chooses to grow to the next level. The one who provides that experience consistently every moment that we exist. He who provides that experience is called pramodana. And it's in a measured quantity. It is not like, oh, I have to keep delivering it to you, take this bulk once and for all. Deal with it. Every single day, every single experience, so much is given. But instead of looking at it as his prasada for my effort, every experience that comes, I start evaluating. Is my worth? Not my worth. Every single experience is provided in such a way that it nourishes me enough so that I gain to the next level. Nourishes me does not mean always fattening. Nourishes me has to include that aspect as well, which strengthens me. If you have gone to exercises and you are developing those core muscles, have you ever gone to exercises? Those core muscle building exercises? When they say burn, you literally feel that burn. You feel that burn in different muscles. You did not even realize you had muscles in that corner. You start feeling that burn. No, but that burn is a necessary point so that that muscle gets strengthened. Without going through that burn, getting that tenacity, getting that strength, getting that rigor in that muscle is not possible. So to assume that every experience has to be a gentle, soft, flower petal like, a feather touch like experience is not possible. Who is the most gentle person towards a kid? Who? Mother. But for the child's welfare, when required, doesn't that mother use excess of strength on that kid whenever required? I'm not talking about topspin here. That also. Like, say simple things like teaching them how to keep themselves clean, grooming themselves. So take that soap and scrub that entire head, the soap, and clean them up. Which kid loved getting a head bath? Why? Invariably, that soap goes into the eyes. And because it goes into the eyes, I don't want that on my head. But still, hold that neck, hold that head, give it a propping support. And then, like a copper pot being polished, it is required. And then when the children are small and young, you put, at least in the Indian system, you put so much of oil and massage them. Why are you using so much? Can't you be, you have to be gentle with the kids. It's not always that feather touch. Now, once they grow up, sometimes you request them, sometimes you advise them, sometimes you give an explanation. You have tried it all. Then what comes out? The BK avatar, the Bhadrakali avatar. How many times do you have to tell you? Okay. All these experiences are required for that child to grow. Many times, when the Balavihar teachers and when I talk to the different centers, one of the often asked question is, when we talk about all these stories of our literature, of our Veda, of our Puranas and Itihasa, there is so much of violence in it, and that too with a graphic description. We are not comfortable teaching such kind of violence to the kids. Usually, this is coming from those parents as teachers who are, in their own thought of goodness, are overprotective of their children. See, when the child leaves from the secured environment of the parents' care and loving environment to face the life, and usually when these kids choose to face that life on their own terms, if they are living in South, where do they find their college, their university? Up north. Those who are north, where do they find it? Down west. Those who are west, where do they find it? Far east. So far away that if they have to think about coming, it is not like, oh, I have time, I'll go drive by and see my child. No, far away. Now, when they go out there, how is the world outside? Is it like that feather touch? Gentle rose petals all around, cushioned from one experience to the other. No, it is harsh reality. And that naked truth, these guys have not been prepped up to face, because they've always been cushioned environment. Now, why do the Puranas have these kind of graphic descriptions? You take Prahlada. It is not just the gory aspect of Lord Nrsimha killing Hiranyakashipu, how he tore his stomach away, how he pulled his intestines out, there is that bhikara aspect to it. Even the torture that was implied or implemented on Prahlada by his own father is very graphically described. Life can be, will be harsh as depicted. In spite of this harshness, how does one use that experience to be as great, as unique, as benign as Prahlada? To depict that, one has to know what kind of harshness that individual has gone through. Bhagavan Krishna was there all through with the Pandavas. With one touch, he changed Kubja into a beautiful lady. He definitely used his magical powers. But when it came to living their own lives, he did not swing his magic wand or a flute, magic flute, in saying abracadabra, and suddenly their lives are transformed. What did he do? He taught them how to face it in spite of its harshness. The one who provides these experiences And he is very, very patient and benevolent about it. As many times it takes for that individual to understand, grasp, digest, and grow, that many times he will provide that experience. Say that again. There are different methods of it, right? That who does it, because we sometimes forget that that is also his aspect, that he's bound to do it and he's taking care. So don't react in a pattern that why is this happening to me, why has God given up on me, it is not helping me. It is his way of saying that, bhaiya, take this opportunity and try again. It is not like the parent, even as parents, when we are taking care of our children, after how many attempts do you lose it? In saying, you know what, I'm done. Henceforth, your headache. You have been telling, you have been insisting, you have been guiding, and still there is no change. Don't you get frustrated? His benevolence, that without frustration, he keeps providing the experience again and again and again, as long as it takes for that jiva to grasp it, understand it, and grow to the next step. That who provides that experience, Odana, that nourishment and that strengthening experience consistently in a measured quantity, as a dosage that would be given to a patient, in a measured quantity, that which that individual can handle. We may feel that, boy, this is too much, I cannot handle. It is given in a dosage that you can handle at your level. If you're feeling scared or anxious, find that in you, that skill in you to face clean and square. The sooner you learn, the faster that pattern changes. Once you are done with your 10th grade, the syllabus is done. The next grade, the next syllabus. There is that evolutionary process that happens. Now tying it into the Vasana circle, that each one of these experiences is unfolding based on our earlier karma, resulting in today's world as directed by our own Vasanas, likes and dislikes. He could have opened the floodgates and let everything dump once and for all. No, he releases that in a very controlled manner, in a pattern that is just about a little more than what we can handle, so that it pushes us to that. So if you're going to a, what do you call them these days? Life coach, right? They talk about various aspects, even the ordinary trainer at the gym. And they keep pushing us to the next level. And the one who makes sure that he pushes us to that next level in his loving care and concern is called Pramodana. Jitamitraha Pramodana. So one thing to understand, that stop complaining and second guessing the experiences in life, and if at all we have to pray with the intent that, oh Lord, give me that brilliance, give me that glowing intellect to understand these schemes so that I can grow. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. May my intellect be illumined with this clarity. And that is the first mantra which is taught to the kid as a Upadesha before education begins. In the Upanayana Samskara, what is the first prayer that is taught? And nowadays, that after the Samskara is done, the, what do you call that? The sacred thread is taken out and worn on the day of, the, no, wedding, it is a must. After that, I'm telling. It is taken out and worn when it is the Shraddha, or when it is some kind of special puja and things, then you wear it. Then, or if those who wear it consistently, it is to reach to that unreachable corners of the back. No, this is not a dance step. To scratch the back. Or to hold the keys. No, that is not its purpose. That child is introduced to that mantra before any education process is beginning, so that the prayer is understood. Dhiyo yonah prachodayat. May my intellect be illumined to have this clarity as I move through my life. Pramodanah. The next sentence. Anando nandano nandaha satya dharma trivikramaha. After pramodanaha, then anandaha. Anandaha. Swarupam asya iti anandaha. One's own true nature is called Ananda. In understanding this, the scriptures explain that our true nature is defined by these three words: Sat, Chit, Ananda. Together, it is called Satchidananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda, Satchidananda. Of these three, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, the first two are an experience. Like there are these 4 questions. The first question: do you exist? I'm not saying as what. Whatever you are existing as, immaterial of that. Do you exist right now? Thank you. There is no confusion about it. I exist. Do I need a proof of authority, authentication, or proof of convincing that I exist? I have an ID card, or I have a mirror that every day I wake up, मैं हूं ना. Do we need any such? There is one particular group in India, I think I've spoken about them. That association is a very sad aspect. That association has a validity. It has been recognized by Government of India. It is called Akhil Bharat Mrutak Sangh, All India Association of Dead. Those who are a part of that association, their validity is not accepted by Indian government. But that association has a validity. Meaning these are all those people who have been wrongly claimed in the papers, in the books, especially in the pension office, Very sad state. They're 60, 70 years, and suddenly they find their names being cancelled out saying that you are dead. I'm standing right in front of you. What is the proof that you are you as what you are claiming to be? Yeah. In such specific cases, you may need a proof of authority, proving that you are you and you exist. You really, really exist. Otherwise, for generic utility purposes, I exist and I don't need a proof to validate my existence. Right. Second, do you know that you exist? If your neighbor turns around to you and says, do I exist? Something wrong up in the upstairs, gone cuckoo. This brings that age-old, most ancient dialogue which Socrates, Plato, and others had. I am, therefore I think, or I think, therefore I am. So that logic can be easily understood. That if thinking were to be taken as a valid proof of my existence, there are so many times that we exist and do things without thinking. You're getting into your house and somebody played a prank by keeping an ice cold bucket water right at the gate, at the entrance. And as you pushed the door, that bucket full of water fell on you. Sahasra Sirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat. So it fell on you. At that point, when that cold water hits you suddenly, you're so shocked that the mind does not have a thought. A shocking news happens. You're like, huh? And you're stunned. There is no thought that is moving. There's something awesome, jaw-dropping, something that you have seen. Spectacular in its presence. Oh, and then you stop. There's no thinking happening. And the best example is when we sleep. Deep sleep. I'm not talking about the dream state. There is no thought. So if I were to exist only because I think, I should cease to exist when I'm sleeping. I should cease to exist when I'm stunned. I should cease to exist when I see that awesome moment. But I seem to continue. If I cease to exist when I'm sleeping, I would be scared to go sleep. Why? Pata nahi. Should I come back or not? No, I'm good. I'll pin my eyelids up and then take that 5 hour energy, Red Bull, coffee, triple espresso, constantly keep myself alive. Why? If I sleep, जो सो गया वो मर गया. No, it doesn't happen. That's exactly what I'm saying. You still continue to exist. Even in the absence of the thought, you still continue to exist. And the heart rate or the heart beating cannot be taken. Even that can be manipulated with the yogic techniques. The alpha, gamma, beta wavelengths can be fluctuated. No, it doesn't. I'm talking about even that can be regulated. There are enough experiments done on that. So I exist. I don't need validation. I know I exist. These are already an experience. What is not an experience? The fourth stage, which is Ananda. And that is why universally, whether I am cooking, baking, eating, sleeping, washing, driving, working, whatever I am doing, whether it is an Indian, whether it is a Chinese, whether it is a Russian, whether it is a American or a European, doesn't matter who, where. Each individual, each jiva, each creature is constantly searching and seeking one universal thing only. What we are trying to achieve it through may be different avenues. Some may be trying to achieve it through cooking. Some may be trying to achieve it through eating. It can be anything. But what is it that you are seeking? It's that one element, that which can give me happiness, that which can give me the absolute joy. That joy, that happiness, which is a long lasting one. To make sure that it lasts as long as possible. I think that is why, it's my opinion again, my way of looking at it, that with the children, better than a candy is a lollipop, a sucker. It's a big hit. Do you know why? It's my caricature imagination. They keep holding on to it for the longest time, looking at it, and then finally they open the wrapper. If you give a candy, done. With a lollipop, once at a time. And you keep looking at it, you keep relishing it, cherishing it. It gives me joy, it gives me happiness. And what is my target now? To continue it as long as possible. And if that which is on the stick is a frozen one, ice cream, I should see the frustration. Why? They want to lick it with as much leisure as possible, but it is melting at a faster pace. Before it can drop, I don't want to waste it now. I want to be one step ahead of it, so I'll start eating it faster. But with the lollipop, there is no such pressure. At a leisure pleasure. Even as a child, that is exactly what we are trying to find. That which gives joy and that which can be entertained for a long period of time so that the joy can be sustained. Sustained happiness is what we are searching. In lieu of that, not finding that sustained happiness, then we come to the next best. The mind is very, very intelligent. What is the next best? An aggregate of various such small, tiny little pieces of joy stringed together as a bottom line of my day. How was your day? I had a couple of good experiences. It was good. I'm stringing together all these experiences and little packets of joy. I put them together and say, today my day was good. Years pass by. When I try reflecting upon the entire year, what was that year worth? What do we remember? One experience, maybe two experiences of the entire year. This was what's standing out. The rest of it is completely forgotten, gone. Now imagine the plight of those people who cannot even get those little tiny pieces of joy that they can string together. So much happening, so much overwhelming in their life that even that little pieces cannot be weeded out and gathered. Frustration to the highest point. A typical Bollywood story. Parents sick, sisters marriage is dilly-dallying, married but yet I don't know what is the condition. Brother doesn't study, always into some prank or some mischief or some kind of, lost the job, onto the streets, nothing else to do. And then the icing on the top. The house owner evicts, saying, leave now. One by one, things start like hammering in. What to talk of the plight of that individual? So the rishis have done an amazing study inside each individual, and said, Baba, that which you are seeking is not in the vastu, is not in the vyakti, is not in the anubhava, is not in the desha or kala. It's not in the object, it's not in the person, it's not in the experience, it is not in the place or time. Where is it? It is right in one's own being as the core of one's own existence. In fact, they have gone to the extent of saying, whenever we have interacted with that elements of our life as experiences, whenever we have found that joyous moment, what has come to the surface is my own nature, which I attribute to that vastu, which I attribute to that vyakti, which I attribute to that paristhiti. And what is attributed is my own nature. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa gives a bitter pill, no sugar coating done. Usually his examples have certain sweetness to it, madhurya to it. But this example that he makes is no sugar coating on it. He says it is like the dog biting into the bone, that harsh bone that it is biting into. And that bone pricks into its own jaw, bleeding it. And as it is biting in and the rasa that is coming, what is it attributing it to? To that bone. And that is how we are biting, chewing on to the world of things, beings, experiences, places and time. That which is surfacing is my own true nature. What am I attributing it to? I am attributing it to that which I am experiencing. And it should have been quite an easy understanding. If that vyakti, if that vastu, if that paristhiti had in itself as its nature to give me happiness, shouldn't it have been universal? Like you have these sockets, you put your finger in there, consciously, unconsciously, by mistake, you put your finger there. What is the universal experience? What you experience is called shock. Why? Because it is its nature to flow where there is least resistance available. That is its nature. If that vyakti, vastu, paristhiti, desha, kala had in its nature to give me that sukha, to give me that ananda, should it not be universal? That anybody interacting should be gaining that same ananda. Any kind of mood swing, any kind of mental mindset that I carry, still experiencing. Supposing I am depressed, I put my finger in the socket, it will still give me a shock. I am very happy and put my finger in, it will still give me shock. Irrespective of what my mindset is, it's still, the experience is universal. That vyakti, that vastu, that paristhiti, desha kala, which I claim to give me happiness, little swing of my mood, I am not in mood. That vastu, that vyakti, that paristhiti doesn't give me the same happiness. I got an email saying, Mr. Kumar, you are terminated. I was about to open my cheesecake. I love cheesecake. I was about to take the first bite. I lost my job. What do I do now? I'm trying to call my friends, text my friends, hey guys, do you still have your job, or are you also? Because they're doing, what do you call them? Right sizing the company. Not downsizing it, right sizing the company. New word for it. In the right sizing, am I being on the right side or on the left? Am I being left out? Within half an hour, I get another email. Sorry, it was supposed to go to this department, Kumar, but it came, we wrongly picked you as that Kumar. You are not that Kumar. Your job is still there. We, by mistake, sent you that pink slip. Where is the cheesecake? That which was supposed to give you ananda, when you found that news and it upset your mind, shouldn't have been giving ananda at that point. But there is no interest. This is our own experience. We don't need Vedanta to tell us that. Therefore, the only logical conclusion that can be drawn upon is that this ananda swarupam asya iti, that swarupa of ananda is my own true nature. The sooner I can establish in that, then when I am working and interacting with the world outside, now when I'm working, I am searching or working for happiness. And that is why there's so much of disappointments in life. Once having established, and when I'm interacting, I'm not working for happiness, but I'm working with happiness. Many intelligent few jump into wrong conclusion here, saying, if I'm already happy, why would I work? Have you ever found a happy person sitting in one dark corner with a song in the background? मुझे मेरे हाल पे छोड़ दो. You find some gloomy corner, somebody sitting there with an why are you like that? I'm happy. Do you find a gloomy person sitting happy somewhere? When you're happy, what do? You're bouncing all around, you're gathering as many people that you love, care about, you're sharing it, you're dancing with them, you're celebrating. So the person who has established himself or herself in that ananda works with happiness, celebrating every moment. That is the ananda that is being spoken about, which is the true nature of one's own self, which is the expression of that Paramatma. There are two more aspects. Nandanaha, Nandaha cha. That we will see manana, tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।